Alright, so today I want to talk to you about the ROG Xbox Ally X and the original ROG Ally X because a lot of people are trying to decide between the two or wondering if upgrading is actually worth it. This is bad, don't buy it type of video, but both of these are still really solid handhelds. And the goal here is simply to lay out the differences, the costs, and the real world experiences so you can make the right decision for you. Because depending on the situation, the answer isn't the same for everyone. First, it's important to understand what the Xbox Ally X really is. At its core, it's still a Windows-based handheld PC, just like the original Ally X. You're still running Windows, you're still installing Steam, Game Pass, Epic, emulators, all of that. What Asus and Xbox have done here is take the Ally X and refine it, especially around comfort and the Xbox integration. So this isn't a brand new category of device, it's more of a polished evolution. And that's not a bad thing, just sets expectations correctly. Let's talk performance, because this is usually the first question people ask. Yes, the Xbox Ally X does offer a bit more power than the original Ally X. In real world gaming, that usually works out to around 10% extra performance, depending on the game and settings. Now, in practice, that means slightly higher frame rates, a bit more headroom in demanding titles, slightly smoother performance in edge cases, but it's not a dramatic leap. You're not jumping the entire performance tier. You're not suddenly running games that were impossible before. For some players, that extra headroom does matter. For others, it's something you'll rarely notice during normal gameplay, especially if you're not staring at the FPS counter. In terms of playable time, the Xbox Ally X, even though it has the same size 80 watt hour battery as the original Ally X, the Z2A1 Extreme chip is more powerful and efficient while pumping out some more performance power. In real life, the battery life, this improves it marginally and is very unlikely to ruin a gamer's routine between the two. Oh, and if you're thinking, well, the new Xbox Ally must be worth it because of an upgraded newer screen, you'd be wrong. Unfortunately, it still has the same 7-inch, 120Hz, 1080p IPS display that this original Ally X has. Now, this is where most people start weighing things more carefully. The pricing. Right now, you can still find the original ROG Ally X secondhand for around £600, sometimes less or more depending on the condition and bundles they are being sold with. And they're readily available all over eBay and other sites at good deals. The Xbox Ally X, on the other hand, sits around £800 new, but trying to get your hands on one is currently difficult. With the RAM crisis currently going on, finding stock is hard, and due to this, the second-hand market is brutal. You can get one for £750 if you find a really good deal, but a lot on eBay currently are selling over the market value. So the price gap is significant. The question isn't whether the Xbox Ally X is better, it is in few areas, but whether those improvements are worth the extra £200 to £300 for your use case. For some people, they will be. For others, that money might be better spent elsewhere, like cases, screen protectors, or maybe some grips to make it more comfortable to get a closer comfort feel to the Xbox Ally X. And this moves us nicely on how the Xbox Ally X clearly improved comfort. The grips are more pronounced, the feel are more traditional like the Xbox controller for longer sessions, especially if you have larger hands. This can make a noticeable difference. If comfort is high on your priority list, this alone could be a deciding factor. That said, it's also worth mentioning that the original Ally X isn't uncomfortable. Third-party grip cases do exist, so the comfort can be improved without replacing the device. So while this is a real upgrade, it doesn't automatically make the original Ally X a bad experience. So let's talk about the software and the Xbox integration. And the features people are talking about a lot is the dedicated Xbox button on the Xbox Ally X. And yes, having a physical button is nice, but it's important to know that the original ROG Ally X now runs the same Xbox full screen experience. You still get the same Game Pass experience, the same UI, same ecosystem. On top of that, you can map one of the buttons on the back to do exactly the same thing as that Xbox button would do. So while the Xbox Ally X does make this feel more native, the experience gap is actually smaller than it first appears. Something worth mentioning is that both devices still share the same Windows experience. That means same updates, same setup process, same flexibility, and some occasions the quirks that Windows brings. The Xbox interface is just a program that runs over the top of Windows, rather than being its own OS. If you're comfortable with Windows handhelds, both devices will feel familiar. And if you're new to them, the learning curve is the same on both. There's no major usability difference here that swings things heavily in one direction or the other. So, who is the Xbox Ally X actually for? Makes a lot of sense if you don't own an Ally already, you want the most refined version available, comfort is a top priority, you're happy paying a premium. In that case, the Xbox Ally X is a great all-in-one package. So who is the original Ally X and why it still makes sense for certain people? If you already own one, don't upgrade. If you're shopping secondhand, it's a good option. You want the best value for money, you're happy with slightly less power for a much lower price. You're still getting the same games, the same Xbox software, and very similar overall experience. This really isn't about one device being better and the other being bad. It's about value. The Xbox Ally X is more refined handheld. The original Ally X is better value purchase for most people. If you can get the Xbox Ally X at a great price, it's absolutely worth considering. If not, the original Ally X remains one of the best handheld gaming PCs you can buy. I would always suggest, however, always doing your research on other competitors in the market. You can get some great performance to value with other brands also. Hopefully, this helps you decide which one fits your needs better. If you used either or both, I'd love to hear your experience in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and make sure you subscribed for more handheld and tech content coming soon. And I'll catch everyone in the next one.